Japan doesn't just make better homes, it makes homes that quietly eliminate the frustrations everyone else learns to live with. A bathtub so deep and so well designed that a daily soak becomes the most effective recovery tool in the house. A heated table that keeps the entire family warm all winter without touching the central heating ones. And a grill built directly into the stovetop that makes restaurant-quality cooking a standard part of any weeknight dinner. Today we're counting down 16 Japanese home ideas that instantly fix everyday problems. Watch until the end because number 16, the Takoyaki maker, turns one of Japan's most iconic street foods into something anyone can make at home in minutes. Number 1. Kotatsu heated table. Winter heating is one of those problems that most people solve expensively and inefficiently. The central heating goes on, the entire house warms up, and the energy bill quietly doubles for 3 months straight while half the rooms being heated stay empty for most of the day. Japan looked at that problem and came up with something completely different. The kotatsu is a low table with an electric heating element built into the frame underneath and a thick, heavy blanket draped over the top. You slide your legs under the blanket, the heat traps inside, and within minutes you're completely warm. The rest of the room stays at normal temperature. You're not heating empty hallways or unused rooms, you're heating yourself. Exactly where you're sitting. It doubles as a dining table, a work desk, and the place the whole family gravitates toward on a cold evening. One table, one blanket, and a heating bill that stays manageable all winter. Number 2. Japanese Shabu Shabu hot pot. Most meals are cooked in the kitchen and carried to the table. Shabu Shabu reverses that entirely, and the result is one of the most social, interactive, and genuinely enjoyable ways to eat a meal that any home dining format has ever produced. A countertop electric hot pot sits at the center of the table with a simmering dashi or kombu broth. Paper-thin slices of Wagyu beef, pork, or chicken, alongside vegetables, tofu, and mushrooms, are arranged on platters beside it. Each person takes what they want, swishes it briefly through the broth for a few seconds, dips it in ponzu or sesame sauce, and eats it immediately. The cooking happens at the table. The meal unfolds at whatever pace the people eating it choose. Nothing goes cold because nothing sits on a plate waiting. Everything is cooked and eaten in the same motion, which is both the technique and the entire experience simultaneously. Number 3. Ofuro deep soaking tub. A standard bathtub is designed for lying down, which sounds comfortable until you notice that you're never actually fully submerged in one. Your knees stick up. The water cools quickly because there's so much surface area exposed. The experience ends up lukewarm rather than genuinely restorative. Japan designed the Ofuro around a fundamentally different idea. The tub is shorter in length but significantly deeper, built for sitting upright with the entire body submerged up to the shoulders. Less water is needed to fill it, which means it heats faster and retains that heat considerably longer than a shallow standard tub. The bath in Japan is also used differently. You wash yourself thoroughly at the shower station before getting in. The tub is purely for soaking, and because nobody is washing in it, the same water can be shared across the household or reheated the following day. It's a fundamentally better system for recovery, relaxation, and daily well-being. Number 4. Toilet tank hand basin. Every time a toilet flushes, the tank refills with clean, fresh water. Perfectly usable water that flows into a cistern and sits there until the next flush. Meanwhile, you walk to the sink, run more clean water over your hands, and send that down the drain too. Japan noticed that redundancy and fixed it decades ago. A small integrated basin sits on top of the toilet tank. When the toilet is flushed, the water flowing in to refill the cistern first passes through a small tap above the basin, giving you a few seconds of running water to wash your hands. That same water then drops into the tank below, ready for the next flush. No extra plumbing, no wasted water, no second fixture taking up bathroom space. 2 separate water uses become one without any compromise on either. It's the kind of fix that makes you wonder why it took anywhere else so long to consider it. If you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's clever, everyday innovations. And if you love discovering things you didn't even know existed, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Trust me, the next ones are even smarter. Number 5. Tatami flooring. Most modern flooring is hard, cold, and indifferent underfoot. Hardwood, laminate, tile, they're easy to maintain, they look clean, and they offer almost nothing in terms of comfort or environmental regulation. Tatami is a traditional Japanese flooring material made from tightly woven rush grass over a compressed rice straw or foam core, and it's been used in Japanese homes for centuries for reasons that go well beyond tradition. The surface is naturally cushioned without being soft. It has a slight give underfoot that makes sitting and lying on the floor genuinely comfortable without any additional cushioning. Rush grass naturally regulates humidity by absorbing moisture when the air is damp and releasing it when the air is dry. which is why tatami rooms maintain a more stable indoor environment than rooms with hard flooring. They also carry a mild, clean, grassy scent that many Japanese people associate directly with the feeling of being home. Number 6. Japanese magnetic knife block. A standard knife block sits on the counter, taking up a footprint of space it never gives back. The blades go in edge first, which gradually dulls them against the interior slots, and half the block is usually occupied by slots that don't fit any knife you actually own. Japan mounts the knives on the wall instead. A magnetic knife block is a wall-mounted strip with a powerful magnet running its length. Each knife attaches directly to the surface, blade facing away, handle outward. Every knife in the collection is visible at a glance, reachable with one hand in 1 second, and stored without its edge touching anything that would gradually dull it. The counter space the block used to occupy becomes available permanently. The wall space used is space that was already there doing nothing, and the collection can expand to any number of knives without needing a larger block or a second counter position to accommodate them. Number 7. Built-in stovetop fish grill. Grilling food at home in most kitchens requires either a separate countertop appliance, an outdoor setup, or making do under a broiler that never quite achieves the result you're after. It's either a significant setup or a compromise that produces a noticeably inferior result. Japan builds the grill directly into the cooker. A pull-out grill drawer sits beneath the burners on every standard Japanese gas range. You slide it open, place your fish, meat, or vegetables on the rack, slide it closed, and the grill works from above and below simultaneously. When the food is done, the drawer slides out cleanly for washing. No extra appliance on the counter, no outdoor setup required, no clearing space for a separate gadget before every use. The built-in grill is standard in the vast majority of Japanese home kitchens, which means grilling is simply a normal part of cooking at home rather than a production that requires advanced planning and significant additional equipment every single time. Number 8. Remote control ceiling lights. In most homes, the bedroom light switch is beside the door. You get into bed, get comfortable, reach the point where you're ready to sleep, and then have to get back out of bed to turn the light off. It's a small frustration that happens every single night without exception. Japan solved it with a remote control built into every ceiling light fixture as a standard feature. Japanese ceiling lights, called shiro, come with a small handheld remote that controls power, brightness, and color temperature from anywhere in the room. You dim the light as you wind down, switch it off completely from the bed the moment you're ready, and adjust it in the morning without leaving the duvet. Many models also include a reading mode, a night mode at minimal brightness, and a wake-up mode that gradually brightens over a set period. It's a feature so standard in Japanese homes that a ceiling light without a remote feels genuinely incomplete. Number 9. Ceiling drying poles. Indoor laundry drying is one of those domestic frustrations that most homes handle with a plastic rack on the floor that takes up room, stays permanently damp between uses, and never quite fits enough laundry to dry a full load in one session. Japan fixes it with the ceiling. Ceiling-mounted retractable drying poles installed directly into the ceiling with 2 brackets. You pull the pole down to hanging height when laundry needs drying, and push it back flush with the ceiling when it doesn't. The pole provides a full-length hanging space for an entire load without consuming any floor space at any point during or after use. Brands like Sunwave make systems that lock at multiple heights and support significant weight without flexing. When the laundry is done and put away, the pole disappears completely into the ceiling. No folding a rack away, no finding somewhere to store it, no tripping over it. The floor stays clear and the ceiling does the work. Number 10. Japanese bamboo cutting board. Most cutting boards fall into 2 categories. Plastic boards that are easy to clean but develop grooves over time, where bacteria establish themselves in the cuts left by knife blades, and standard wood boards that are more forgiving on blades but require more careful maintenance to prevent warping and bacterial accumulation in the grain. Japanese bamboo cutting boards offer a third option that outperforms both in several key areas. Bamboo is technically a grass rather than a wood, and its cellular structure is significantly harder than most cutting board timbers. It's naturally antimicrobial, meaning bacteria struggle to survive on the surface in a way they don't on standard wood. The surface is self-healing to a degree, with shallow knife cuts closing over time rather than remaining as permanent grooves. It's also significantly more sustainable than hardwood boards, growing to full harvestable size in 5 years compared to the decades hardwood trees require. Better performance, better hygiene, and a more responsible material simultaneously. Number 11. Underfloor radiant heating. Most home heating systems warm the air, which rises toward the ceiling, while the floor you're actually standing on stays cold. The heating can be running at full capacity, and the first step out of bed in the morning still lands on a cold surface because the warmth is above you rather than beneath you. Japan installs the heat in the floor itself. Electric heating elements beneath the floor surface warm the ground directly, and that warmth radiates upward through the space, naturally from the most effective possible position. The floor becomes the heat source rather than the ceiling or a wall-mounted radiator that heats unevenly and leaves cold corners regardless of output level. The result is a room that feels genuinely warm from the ground up, with no cold spots, no forced air circulation, and no temperature differential between where you're standing and where the warmth is concentrated. It's one of the most comfortable and efficient forms of home heating available anywhere. Number 12. 12. Sliding Fusuma doors. Every hinged door in a home requires a clear arc of floor space to open and close. A standard bedroom door sweeps through roughly a meter of usable room every time it moves. Multiply that across every interior door and you begin to understand how much floor space is permanently allocated to clearance that serves no other function. Japan has used sliding panel doors throughout its homes for centuries, and the reason is immediately obvious the moment you see how they work. Fusuma panels slide horizontally along a track, sitting flush against the wall when open and consuming zero floor space at any point. Rooms feel larger because furniture can be placed anywhere without accounting for a swing radius. Two panels can open an entire wall between rooms or close it off completely in a single motion. It's a fundamentally more space-efficient way to divide a home, and once you understand what's being lost to door clearance in a standard layout, the hinged alternative becomes genuinely difficult to justify. Number 13. Eco-Cute Heat Pump Water Heater. Water heating is one of the largest ongoing energy costs in any home, and most systems handle it the same way. A boiler generates heat by burning gas or using electrical resistance, applies that heat to water, and repeats that energy-intensive process every time a hot tap is turned on. Japan developed a fundamentally more efficient approach with the Eco-Cute system. Rather than generating heat from scratch, the Eco-Cute uses a heat pump to extract warmth already present in the outdoor air and transfer it into a water storage tank, heating a full supply overnight during off-peak hours when electricity costs less. A heat pump moves existing heat rather than creating new heat, which makes it dramatically more efficient than any combustion or resistance-based system. The hot water is stored and available throughout the day without any continuous energy consumption in the background. Lower running costs, reduced emissions, and full hot water availability without any change to how the household uses it. Number 14. Futon and oshiire system. A bed occupies more floor space than any other piece of furniture in a bedroom and uses that space for roughly 8 hours out of every 24. For the remaining 16 hours, it sits there doing nothing except preventing the room from being used for anything else. Japan approaches this differently. The futon is a foldable sleeping surface that rolls or folds completely flat. The oshiire is a deep, double-tiered built-in closet, proportioned specifically to store a folded futon on the upper shelf and bedding on the lower. In the morning, the futon is folded and stored, the doors close, and the entire floor of the room becomes available. The same room that functioned as a bedroom at night becomes a living space, workspace, or exercise space during the day. A smaller home functions as a larger one because the largest piece of furniture in it disappears for 2/3 of every day, rather than sitting permanently in a space it was never designed to share. Number 15. 24-hour home ventilation system. Most people don't think about the air quality inside their home until something makes it impossible to ignore. Condensation forming on windows, mold appearing in corners, a stuffiness that never quite clears regardless of how often windows are opened. Since 2003, Japanese building law has required every new residential property to include a mechanical ventilation system that runs continuously at a low level, cycling stale indoor air out and drawing fresh air in around the clock without any input from the household. Modern buildings are well sealed for energy efficiency, which creates a closed environment where pollutants, moisture, and carbon dioxide accumulate faster than most people realize. The continuous ventilation system counteracts this automatically, rather than relying on the household to remember to open windows at the right times. The air inside a Japanese home is continuously refreshed as a legal baseline standard. Not an optional feature, not a manual habit, but a built-in system that runs every hour of every day, regardless of whether anyone is thinking about it. Number 16. Japanese takoyaki maker. Takoyaki is one of Japan's most beloved street foods. Spherical savory snacks made from wheat batter filled with octopus, tempura scraps, and spring onion, cooked in a special dimpled pan, dressed with sauce and mayonnaise, and finished with bonito flakes that wave from the heat when served. Outside Japan, eating takoyaki means finding a street stall or a specialist restaurant. In Japan, it means getting the takoyaki maker out of the cupboard. A Japanese electric takoyaki maker has a flat cooking plate with perfectly hemispherical dimples that produce the spherical shape through a simple rotation technique. You pour batter, add fillings, and turn each ball with a skewer as the batter sets. The machine maintains the precise temperature needed to cook the exterior crisp while keeping the interior molten. The entire process takes about 10 minutes once the technique is learned. The result is fresh, hot takoyaki at home with the same texture and flavor as the street stall version. Available any evening without leaving the house. If you want to see more amazing things Japan is doing better than the rest of the world, then like and subscribe. And make sure to watch the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more life-improving things.